36 or 37 miles, depending on who's telling the story. And it is and quite frankly, until last night, I had been spelling this wrong for 40 years. There's 2 H's in Hochheim, but there is no S in New Braunfels. Well, there's 2 H's in the middle is what I mean. All right. What I get to live through every day. All right, 36 and a half miles. It is boring. I mean, but it is boring in the sense of I suggest that you go do this as part of, if it's your first go around especially, that you go do this to get an idea of what it is like to go through these long, not very exciting stretches of river, because I mean, it really is, it can grate on you if you're in the middle of the race and you've been kind of hitting these checkpoints and they're pretty close together, and now it's like, the first time I did the race, this took us over 8 hours. And I can't remember what the total allowed time, and I know there's folks that have taken more. And with the water level like it is, it's pretty brutal. I mean, it was running 250 CFS when I looked at it yesterday, and I used to say it was low when it got to 750. So there you go. And you need to get to Hochheim. It's spelled correctly here too. This checkpoint by 4 a.m. on Sunday. So now that you've gone through the really exciting stretch from Gonzales to Hochheim, you're going to go to the slightly shorter but equally boring stretch from. I am remiss in not showing you the picture of the Hochheim checkpoint, which is.
I worked very hard to find these.
And what's even better is what I should have done is left the old pictures in here, because if Texas has an armpit, it is under the bridge at Hochheim. I mean, just to put it, so this is just upstream of Hochheim. One of our former racer and now pretty much permanent checkpoint official, Joe Hunt, has worked tirelessly to make this into probably almost a park on somebody else's property that they just said it was okay to use as a checkpoint. The only downside is when it rains like hell, it gets mud pit, which pretty much describes everything. If you find yourself parked, this is really important too, especially for team captain folks. Well, really only for team captain folks. The parking is tough. I mean, it's a 1-lane road in, 1-lane road out, and through a 1 truck wide gate. Please be mindful in your parking that you leave room for the other folks to get in and out. The egress or ingress of the road and to the highway is a pretty dangerous spot. I mean, it's 70 mile an hour speed limit right there. And so you know those 18-wheelers are going 85, and we've got warning signs and everything else. But as you park, and apply this, anywhere you're parking along the course, as you park, be mindful of your surroundings and don't. I mean, I've been a part of this race for, like I said, 40 years, and I worry more about the people that are driving from point to point than I do the people in the race. Because, worst thing that's happened to me in the race is a concussion. The worst thing that can happen if you're driving is you're going 70 miles an hour and somebody T-bones you, or you fall asleep or something. So really, you guys that are out there on the road, that's the scary part. So all that to say, the parking is limited, and it's a dangerous spot for the bank crews more than it is for the racers here. All right, now we're to Hochheim deep side, and I would suggest that you do exactly exactly what I did and get out your, well actually I did it with old paper maps, but now that you have Google Earth all on your phones and stuff, get out there and mark these in your GPS so you have something to give yourself a little bit of, where am I? And you can say, oh, I'm at Fulcher Creek, or I'm at the Witten Branch, or Cuero Creek, and blah, 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 through there. Or look for the red barn. You could just look for that and know, you know, you must be getting close to feeling almost close. And you're going to find various accounts of the radio tower, because you will see the radio tower and you're going to think to yourself, I'm almost at Cheapside. And when you see the radio tower, what it means is you're almost getting close to being almost to Cheapside. It is a long straight stretch, and that radio tower is right there, except for then the river does its thing, whoop, and it comes back, and you see it again, you think, oh, now I'm really getting close. It's like, no, you're just even a little bit closer to being close. And that goes on for about an hour and a half, and then you're going to come around the corner, and there it is, and you're not prepared for it. So the radio tower is a good thing, and it's a painful thing. But this is another one of those stretches. If you have time to see the race course in its entirety, these long stretches are good for getting your brain used to all of that kind of, am I there yet? You know, the next bridge is always 20 minutes away. Cheapside, the cutoff is at 11 a.m. on Sunday. Got some pictures. There's generally pretty good parking. It's a big flat area that's been mowed down for whatever reason, but I mean, if you ever meet a kid from Cuero, ask them if they've ever been to Hell's Gate and watch them blush. Because that's their spot to be under the bridge and do their thing. If you have small children, don't let them read the buttresses on the bridges. Just say. But it is good parking, and it is in dry conditions a really good boat ramp down to the river and a good handoff spot. Just downstream from that is a pretty sandy bank where a lot of people prefer to use. But I mean, it's good access. It's a nice place. The couple who've been the checkpoint officials there forever generally has some cooking going on, so it can be even more advantageous to spend more time than not. So you never know it just from us talking about it, but Cuero is really kind of the center of the water safari, because you go to Cheapside, which is Highway 766, then you have a whole series of bridges that come around to Highway 236, which is where the water safari prelim used to start. And so you're Cuero for how long, do you think? I mean, there's plenty of time to, you know, find a place to go to the bathroom, you know. If you're in the boat, you've already got that figured out, right? But, you know, there's places to get ice, you know, places to eat. They got a Whataburger that's open all night. I mean, Kristen will go through some of this in the team captain stuff out there to probably give you some of these tricks. And I mean, the one time I've been a team captain in modern history, I just did what she told me. I don't know what these places are. So now we're going around Cheapside. This is Cuero Dam. This is one of those places where the river has really changed through the year. I think I have a color picture. You see where I put my pen many, many moons ago, and now the river has cut around Cuero Dam, and unless something really dramatic happens, most of you will never see Cuero Dam. It'd be kind of like trying to tell you to go to Fincher's Dam. Most people don't know where it is because it's back in the woods now, because the river's moved on. And so it's a big loop around. It's actually pretty nice now. I should put a picture of Old San Antonio Road in here next year. So once you pass Cuero Dam, the next bridge is commonly referred to as Old San Antonio Road. I don't remember, I probably have it right in front of me.
87.
Huh?
It's Highway 87.
No, it's the other one. 340, 34, FM 3402, Heaton Street, Old San Antonio Cuero Road. The fastest piece of this entire race course is from the point you make the turn to where you can see that bridge to the bridge. So you can stop paddling, you can be cool, lean on your boat, let your mom take pictures of it, do neat things like that, but it is literally the fastest stretch of the entire river. It's only about a quarter mile long, but it feels like you're going really fast at that point. Next bridge is Highway 87. It doesn't have very good access, although there tend to be people there. Then you get to Highway 236 or Arnekeyville Highway. If you ask somebody local, somebody talking to me. This is a cutoff of 3 p.m. on Sunday. And again, it's one of those sections, there's some small sweepers and whatnot. And then from there to Thomaston, pretty benign. You will go through one, I don't even know if it's really a rapid, but we all call it Polecat Rapid because, well, the polecat lives there. Anyway, it's a right-hand turn. There's a couple little standing ways. It's not like a skunk that lives there. It's just Bill Stafford lives there, and we can call him Polecat.
Oh, there is a little.
Oh, look at
it's
that.
got good parking.
What's that?
It's got good parking.
Yeah, oh, good parking there. If it rains, it's kind of, I mean, that probably applies to everywhere on the river.
It was particularly bad during the flooding. It wore a cavern, like a canyon down the ramp. So it made it really treacherous for team captains.
Yeah, all those banks are just sand, so there's not really anything to hold them together when they get wet. And this is one of the areas that has it has a sleeping area, and it's a tough feeding area, sleeping area, because trying to stay ahead of the shade at this particular location is pretty tough. I mean, without putting everybody back in the woods. From there, it's about 18 miles or so to Thomaston. I mean, from 236 to Thomaston, about 18 miles. Again, a couple of small little riffle things. Well, River Haven is not, where the prelim starts, or the Texas River Marathon starts at River Haven, which, is it open? Nope. Which is halfway through this section. So you'll get to River Haven, you'll see a railroad trestle over on your left, you make the right turn, and there's a bunch of houses. There is a sweeper at the bottom of that straightaway that can be pretty hairy. I guarantee you during the prelim or Texas River Marathon, it will be hairy because there will be about 50 of us trying to go through it at the same time. If in doubt, stay far to the left, because that's the least likely to get your boat chewed up, or you, for that matter. Thomaston Bridge, nothing exciting there. It's kind of a muddy, another one of those muddy walk down to the river. There's a sandy little bench there that you can stand on-ish, and you know, it's not like a place that you want to hang out and, you know, party, or, well, maybe you want to party there, but you sure wouldn't want to just hang out and eat. From Thomaston to Nursery is probably, this is De Leon Rapid that shows up here, and I realize that the sun has moved just wrong for seeing some of this now. And there's a chute right down the middle, which has a pretty good standing wave in it that can be really refreshing, cool you down as it pushes you out of your boat, because it just hits you in the chest. So try to stay a little bit to the left of it. And then you'll get to the Nursery Bridge, and this is another one of those stretches that it's only 8 miles long, but for whatever reason, the current dies as you just pass De Leon Rapid here, and you'll get in this wide pool of water, and you're like, I'm never ever gonna get to this bridge. And then you turn the corner and you see the bridge, but it's still one of those that it's like, I'm never ever gonna get to that bridge. I'm not moving. So just be prepared. It's probably like the second or third longest straightaway on the entire creek. From Nursery, it's 13 miles to the Victoria City Park boat ramp. That cutoff is 6 a.m. Monday. You will go past Loop 463. That's not on here either because it's not really a very accessible spot. Some people have team captains that are brave enough to climb down all that stuff. And the river goes, I'll give you this tip. When you see that bridge, the next bridge you see after Thomaston, you can go right or you can go left. Right is the safe way, but it's also got the least amount of water. Left is probably where we've had more boat wrecks later on in the water during the race than any other place on the river. And there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's a fast little chute going through there, and people manage to turn over. So
This is the Thompson Bridge?
what's that?
This is Thompson Bridge?
No, this is after the Thomaston Bridge. This first bridge past it, I think it's Loop 463, or it's also Highway 77 at that point. Victoria Boat Ramp, 6 a.m. Monday. And I think we've got some pretty nice little spot. It is pretty tight, so parking is at a premium. There'll be a bunch of you have to park up along the road. Again, make sure, this is one of the few places where the police actually get kind of persnickety about parking. Make sure you pull all the way off of the road. I mean, they understand the race is going on. We get a permit with the city so that where they let us keep it open all 24 hours. But just be mindful of the parking.
If it's full, a little bit farther down, you'll go past the Rose Garden. This is for the team captains. A little bit farther down past the ramps to the boat ramp is a new little parking lot, and it has a sidewalk that goes all the way back to the ramp. I found that out in the middle of the night last year. It was very handy, but if you're hauling stuff, you're going to want your wagon.
So, and then let's see what else.
So city parks, no question, they're gonna be good. Is there any portion of these accesses?
Is there what?
Two-wheel drive, the city park is good parking. Is there any portion of access where a two-wheel drive truck is not gonna make it?
I suppose if it got wet enough at Hochheim would be a problem to pull all the way in there. I mean, probably, matter of fact, I think we had to pull some vehicles out during the race last year.
Four-wheel drive vehicles.
Yeah, had to pull out four-wheel drive vehicles, so it just gets muddy enough to where.
Hochheim is kind of a warning.
Yeah, you know what they say about four-wheel drive, and I've been doing it my whole life, it just lets you get stuck further. That's why I have a winch, so I can pull myself out without having to tell anybody. Let's see, what else we got here? This is the little wooden dock in much higher water than we currently have. You can do that at the bottom of the boat ramp right now. So Victoria to Swinging Bridge, I'll try to keep this short. So the first time I ever paddled this stretch, I took the paper map and I said, all right, Marty, let's go. And so we went, and it took us about an hour to get from Victoria till we got to what's now Business 59. It's like, all right, that wasn't so bad. And it's like, it took us an hour to get to Loop 175. It's like, all right, that wasn't so bad. And then we looked on the map and said, well, it's about the same distance on the map. It should only take us about an hour to get to Swinging Bridge. And so when we got to Swinging Bridge, 4 hours later, we realized that, man, maybe we should get some better maps. So really this whole stretch from Victoria City Park is a little twisty, lots of sweeper stuff until you get to Business 59. And then there's a lot of twisty little sweepery kind of stuff until you get to Loop 175, or Highway 59 if you prefer. But then I'm going to give you something because this is, since you showed up here today. And I want you all to remember this and come find me at the finish line and tell me if I was right or wrong. When you leave Loop 175, there are 105 turns in the river before you get to Swinging Bridge. So make sure you count them and keep yourself occupied. I've never gotten it right during the race. I've always counted something extra or shorted myself, but it's that first time we went down there, it's like there's the big power plant, all those lights coming off of the, what is it called now? The Invista plant, and you're thinking, well, I'm almost there, and then that river, you know, it's like Bugs Bunny, man, it made that right turn at Albuquerque, and then you come back and you see it again, and so it's another one of those stretches. Find something to keep your brain occupied as you go through there. I guess the other piece is about halfway through that, you would run across Coletto Creek, which can be a pretty big deal. Oh, there's a picture of Highway 59. That's actually at the bridge, and it really is not quite as nice as this picture makes it look.
Yeah, it's pretty
I
nice.
mean, imagine, if you will, the smell of fish guts that have been marinating in the sun. You know, combined with, you know, all of the guts after somebody's, you know, field dressed a deer and left those sitting in the sun. And you get kind of the idea of the aroma of Loop 175. However, just downstream from the bridge, a gentleman whose name I do not recall has bought a piece of property and improved it greatly, and his sister-in-law did the race, so he has opened it up to everyone. So really nice spot. Don't go all the way to the bridge. Look for the nice mowed area right before you get there and go down there.
I'll try to remember to post that closer to the race.
Yeah. Much nicer spot. That's why I just told you that 105 turns. Remember that? 105 turns. Nathan, can you remember that? Swinging Bridge. The cutoff is 6 o'clock p.m. on Monday. I have to say that this has been one of those odd checkpoints through the year because the checkpoint used to physically be at, there is an old suspension bridge. And that used to be the checkpoint way back in the day, and then we moved it upstream to what was then the DuPont plant, and then we moved it downstream after 9/11 because they wouldn't let anybody back in there, and it was kind of a terrible place to do handoffs, and it was pretty up top, but getting down to the river was pretty nasty. But the Invista folks stepped up a couple of years ago. And have made this into a really nice spot. This is where the race ended last year. They've got spotlights set up, and they've got the nicest portable toilet, trailer mounted air conditioned thing that I've ever seen. I mean, it's like, it was so nice that it was miserable and hot and raining, so I went and just sat in one for a while because, I mean, where else am I gonna get that? I didn't really, but I mean, they're really nice. You sat in one for a while?
No. I don't think I've gone in there. This is crazy. Just a comment, if you're looking at the website, it may say 4. Can you confirm 6 p.m.?
At Swinging Bridge, it's 4 p.m.
Okay.
This
So
is-
sorry, y'all. Just
It's 4 p.m.
No,
It's 4
it's right on this printout. It's my slides that are incorrect.
I just have to update it because it was a little
That's, that's where we moved everything last year to give people more time to get from.
Yes. Well,
I thought my ride was here.
This is how you wean us out a little bit, right? So,
What's that?
this is how you wean us out a little bit, get to 6 o'clock.
Yeah, that's it. We're tricking you. Actually, it's
it's-
whoever can stay at the seminar long enough, then you're ready to start training for safari, because you're willing to sit your butt in a chair all day.
Right. Well, you know, and he's talking about, am I giving him the wrong
Yeah.
times? Not am I boring him to death.
Oh, no, we're not bored at all. You're gonna find this is fun.
Oh, you're getting hungry though. I can hear your stomach from here. So this is the drive down in the parking area going down to that checkpoint. It is a really nice boat ramp. That's where the Gator Chase race, which happens the day after the Texas River Marathon starts.
And now, during the flood conditions last year, it was actually up
Yeah, the water
almost
got all the way
level
into
to
that
the
ramp.
bank. It was pretty high.
Does the Gator Chase get a look at the log jams?
Sir?
Does the Gator Chase get a look at the log jams?
Yeah, it goes right through that section. Now, it's probably another one of the places that's important to note that this is not public access during training. I should have said that all the way back when we were talking about Highway 59. Everything from 59 down to the 35 bridge is private property. So during the race, we have permission to access this. During the day after the prelim, we have permission to access it for the Gator Chase race, or if you're somebody who's just going to do a training run that day. Although we ask that if you're not doing the race, that you wait till after the race has started, so that we don't have confusion on who's racing and who's not. But this is, and you're going to hear people talk about the railroad trestle and all of these things. Again, if you don't have permission, please don't access it, because some of these guys are pretty cool about it, but some of them get really annoyed about it, and they call me because somehow they got my number and they raise Cain. So really, if you're going to train the stretch, you need to put in at 59 and pass it down to the 35 bridge, which is, it's a day, man. That's 34 miles. I think that's right. 18 plus 25, no, it's about 38 miles. And then you're going to try to look at all the stuff around the log jams and everything at the same time. The other option is to paddle upstream from Highway 35, which is a chore, but it's also a lot shorter day. But just bear in mind that this is only accessible during those races. Any questions so far?
How far are the log jams up from 35?
How far are they up from 35? Let's see, it's 3 miles from the barrier to 35, and
No map.
about 8 miles, 9 miles ish. A lot of ish in there.
Ish and gators.
What's that?
Ish and gators.
Yeah, ish and gator. Oh man, this is a stretch from here, which is actually this is my favorite part of the whole river. I spend an inordinate amount of time down there through the years. I would leave work and meet my partner on a weeknight, and we would paddle these stretches through the jams and whatnot. So it's also known as Hallucination Alley, Swinging Bridge to Saltwater Barrier, which there's a picture of the jam itself. That is going into the mouth of, I believe, what some people refer to as Cooler Cut.